What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today, ETH, USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 27th day of September, and here we are. Actually, it's the 28th now. Wow, yeah, it's a brand new day. We got 23 minutes, 54 seconds left in this brand new day, and it's also the very end of the week here, so 23 hours, 54 minutes left in this week as well. Here we are, just above $4,000. I'm fully expecting that we see lower prices, yes. I know that there's some very popular influencers and very talented technical analysts out there who are saying that the low is in, and it's very possible that it is in. I just have a theory that we go a little bit lower. My theory strictly comes from the respect that I have with the Fibonacci retracement tool. You know, you look at the low here, we measure this low, we take it to this high, okay? Low to high here, did you notice you hit the 236 at least? You had a fake out high, so we're still going to use this high. You hit the 382. You respected it to a fine point there with Ethereum. Okay, cool, whatever, not a big deal. You know, here, low to high, you didn't respect anything. You didn't hit the 236 at all. This was a more momentary stop, though, to be completely fair. But still, you didn't hit anything. So you don't need to respect these lines. However, I would think being here low to overall high, where it does seem as though we're at a more significant stop, I would think, and being so close, I would think that we hit this 236. We throw people off. How easy is it? How simple is it that we closed here and that we closed here? That's where we're finding support at prior resistance. It could be that simple. It might be that simple, but I wouldn't be surprised if ending this month, opening October, we make our final approach down here, something around 36.68, and then we see some life. Until then, I would assume that the crypto markets do continue to drop. The reason why also, at least that I anticipate, is that October 1st, we have that Senate Committee on Finance talking about taxation of digital assets. You know, if it comes out and it's like bad news or bad, like I'm sure the media is going to try to spin it in a bad way. Maybe they try to spin it in a positive way, and I'm just being a pessimist. I'm normally an optimist, but when I hear taxes on anything, I just think negative, I guess. You know, the first here, if we do have negative news, it might then provide that we sell off beforehand. And then maybe a day goes by, maybe a couple days go by, maybe we find the low the day before. I don't know, but I would assume somewhere around the 1st of October, maybe even afterwards, would be when we start to move up again. So until then, we're going to start to move down. That's my expectation. And if we move down just a little bit more, the 236 is waiting there with open arms to find support at. It's kind of right in the heart of this zone here. I doubt we go to the 382. By the way, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If we're in some kind of unfortunate longer-term corrective move down to the 382, that's still a very bullish area to find support, just so we understand. That doesn't put the bull market in jeopardy at all. But I would hope that we don't go too much below that 236, okay? Typically, you want to look to find direct support off of that line. If we put a line right here, let's see, and just go back in time. Prior resistance there, prior support there, kind of significant, kind of not significant. Prior resistance here. Not the most significant, though, is it? I don't know. That's what we're playing off of. Prior resistance there, support there, resistance there. It's not the most respected area. There are moments where we respect it throughout time. But, you know, time will tell. We'll see how it goes. It would definitely make sense to find support here. I'm still calling for us to go lower. I want to look, and with that in mind, actually, let's provide some targets that might invalidate my theory that we go lower. What would it look like if we are in fact going higher? What would it look like if I am in fact wrong, incorrect, not on the right train of thought here? Let's actually look at the 4-hour time frame. Might be easier to see. Yes. Okay. So if we take this high here to this low, we should have a proper fib. Yeah, we're finding some resistance here. I would think if we can get back above these lows here, that's the golden ratio, and it's a prior area of support, and it's a prior area of resistance here throughout this whole range. It's kind of like that midpoint of this range. If we can get back, it's even like right at the breakout point. We can get back at like 44.50, then I'm wrong. 44.50 and closing days there or higher, then I'm wrong. Until then, there's still very much a chance, and more than just a chance, I would say a probability that we go lower. You know, we could go up to 41, 4,200 and then come down. We could go all the way up to 43, 4,400 and then come down. It doesn't have to be any specific way. Still, coming up here would be a lower high, wouldn't it? It would be a lower high here than this, which is a lower high than this. And in fact, with that kind of idea, if we take this high here to the low, you went right to your golden ratio. You even went through it a little bit. So calling for the golden ratio here, that's not even that crazy, right? Finding resistance at prior support is not that crazy. I don't know if we're going to go that high. I'm not calling for a move to 44, 44.50, anything like that. But here we are at 4,000. I'm just saying we could go that high and still come back down, right? We could go that high going into the 28th, 29th of this month, then 30th through the 1st, 2nd, 3rd day of October. We could be moving down and see some lower lows in that time for sure. Looking at this here with the indicators pulled up, the 4-hour time frame, I will say I like the 4-hour RSI. Let's look at the 1-hour time frame before we get into the 4-hour. I actually do like that 4-hour RSI. That gives me some hopes. The 1-hour RSI I kind of like too, honestly. I don't like that you broke out of your uptrend. But you are holding this area. You kind of look bullishly charged. Let's see how you close today. You know, I definitely am bullish enough to say that you could go to 4,200, 4,250, something like that. Much past that, I'm not really seeing here. Stochastics look a little weird, and that's okay. The MACD is overall bullish, but it's the 1 hour, so it's less important. I'm not going to weigh too much on that. What's the liquidations looking like? Over the past 30 days, a lot of shorts. A lot of shorts have piled on. You know, this actually had, before the weekend, we had like 13 billion in shorts. Now we have 11.5. So some shorts have piled off, and the longs have piled back on. Not a lot, though. There's not a lot of longs at all. Yeah, over the past week, a lot more shorts. Over the past day, more longs than shorts, but that's okay. I still think that we go lower at some point. Let me look at this past 30 days. Hold on. Not really anything to go off. Was it the 7-day? I thought there was something that lined up with 3,600. Maybe it was this here, right? All this little island of longs. It gets cleared out completely at $3,700 there. That's still a little bit of ways away from where I think we're going to go, which is like 3660. 37, 3660. They're pretty close to each other. 4-hour time frame, looking like you're rejecting the overbought area. That's not bullish. The RSI, however, is bullish, and the MACD is bearish with the bullish posturing, as is the RSI. I would think you want to go higher, looking at it like this, right? You got a double bottom coming out of a downtrend here, double bottom right there, bouncing up, breaking out of your downtrend. Maybe you come down a little bit first, but still continue to go higher. I would think we do go higher. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I'm either going to be wrong about this, or we're going to move up to this area, find resistance, or move up to this area and find resistance. We should have then, if Ethereum moves up, maybe a little bit of a break going into this day, Sunday, and perhaps even the beginning of this next week for the average altcoin. But I still am expecting some kind of drawback that would take us down a little bit further. With that being said, I need to see more. We get above 34.50, enough said. We're bullish again, okay? Until then, yeah, we might have to wait for a little bit of a 10% difference in price here. Low to high. I'll do you one better even. Close the day above 33.80 or 43.80. You close the day above 43.80, I will flip bullish on this thing. Close above that golden ratio. Because you look like you're respecting this pretty well. If I'm right, then the next time that we return down to 38.45, we should not hold. We should push lower, and we'll find support somewhere around $3,600 to $3,700. Okay? Something in that area. Either just below this line or right at this line here. That would be my thoughts. Inevitably, I do believe that Ethereum has more to go. I don't believe that we're done here. I don't believe the bull market's done at all. I know I've taken an overall bearish stance on my thoughts of Ethereum here, but not too bearish. Right? We're at 4,000. I'm talking about a drop of like less than 10% from here. Nothing too crazy, but about 10% nonetheless. Inevitably, I very much do believe that Ethereum is going to see new all-time highs. I do believe that we're going to see higher targets, and by the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ethereum was close to $10,000, if not even above $10,000. The next target area that we're expecting by the end of this move should at least be $8,000, and I wouldn't be surprised if we were there by the end of October, if not early November. I would think we consolidate at some point in November, maybe even going into December, and then going into the end of the year, we should be rallying up to that 10K mark or higher, okay? So I'm very bullish on Ethereum, very, very bullish overall. The movements that we're talking about to the downside, they're not even that big. Like I overshot. I didn't even mean to do. Like right there. 3,600. Like it's that. It's that. It's that little stick right there. Just that little tiny guy. It's that. It's nothing crazy. The upside is a lot crazier, that's for sure. We're on the precipice of doing this. Consolidating at the 886, consolidating at the 786, whatever, in this area. Very bullish. Likely does propel us higher. Just got to be patient. You look at the weekly time frame. The weekly RSI overall is very bullish. Stochastics are flipping a little bit bearish right now, coming out of the overbought zone, but that's okay. Sometimes you do that and you come back in, and that's fine. The MACD is overall very bullish as well. I very much would believe that we have growth to go over the coming weeks and months and going into the end of this year. But just over the coming days, well, maybe over the next couple of days, we even have a little bit of growth to go. But I would think sometime by the end of this week and this next week, going into the first week of October there, I would think we come down a little bit more. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. It really does depend on Ethereum here, you guys. When Ethereum starts to do well, whenever this thing starts to kick up and we start to see new all-time highs, there's going to be zero doubt at that point that the alt season, the alt cycle is coming to life. Whenever Ethereum does well, that's the one thing that this whole bull run has really missed out on, is Ethereum doing well. And we've been doing well since April. A lot of cryptos have been doing well since April because of that. But when Ethereum takes a back seat, whenever it pauses, everything else does too, typically. So we're waiting for Mama Goose to lead the way. Once Mama Goose leads the way, all the baby geese are going to follow suit. And I got nothing else for you. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.